Welcome back to the deep dive. Today's going to be a little different from our usual fare.
Yeah, it's definitely a shift.
Usually, we take a stack of articles or maybe a book and we pull out the fun fact.
Right, the dinner party trivia.
Exactly. Like, did you know octopuses have 3 hearts? That kind of thing.
Which is always fun.
It is, but today we are looking at a stack of sources that are essentially a blueprint.
And not a blueprint for a house.
Right. It's a blueprint for the architecture of, well, the architecture of the self.
Which sounds incredibly ambitious.
It sounds impossible, honestly. We're talking about how we construct meaning.
And how we process reality.
Yeah, and ultimately how we can, and I know this sounds like a cheesy tech brochure, upgrade the operating system.
It's a fascinating territory, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the core thesis here is that most of us are running on default settings.
We are just users.
Exactly. We are users of our own minds.
We just click the icons on the screen.
We react to the notifications.
Yeah.
We get angry when the app crashes.
But the invitation in these texts is to become the architect.
To actually get admin access to the code itself.
Right. And before we get into the heavy lifting, because listener be warned, there is some heavy lifting today.
Definitely. We have neuroscience and history and some pretty dense philosophy.
Yeah, I want to start right where the source material starts. I want to try something a little interactive.
The visualization exercise.
Yes. And I know usually when a host says close your eyes, you probably reach for the skip button.
Or roll your eyes.
Right, but stick with me here. Unless you are driving, of course. Please keep your eyes open if you're driving.
Safety first.
Always. But if you can, I really want to set the scene.
It's crucial for the context of everything we're about to discuss. It isn't just data. It's a whole perspective shift.
Okay, so imagine you are standing on top of a massive, wide plateau.
High up.
Very high up. You can feel the air is thinner here. It's crisp.
The sun is beating down.
But it's not hot, right? It's that clear, high-altitude light.
And notice the silence.
Yeah, it's not an empty silence.
It's electric.
It feels like potential.
Now in this headspace, turn around and look behind you.
Stretching back from where you are standing is a winding path.
And that path is your life.
And because we are on this really high vantage point, you can see everything.
You see the bright spots.
The victories, the graduations, the moments you fell in love.
But you also see the valleys.
The shadowy regrets.
The places where the path got muddy.
Or completely washed out. You see the detours.
The times you were just completely lost in the woods.
Thinking you'd never get out.
Only to pop out somewhere unexpectedly valuable.
It's all there. The logic of your life.
Point A led to point B.
Which led to the breakdown at point C.
Which brought you exactly here to this plateau.
Now turn around again, face forward.
What do you see?
Nothing.
Just open sky.
Endless horizon. There is absolutely no path laid out in front of you.
And this is the core concept we need to wrestle with today.
This visualization represents the metamind.
It's the realization that while the past is a script that has already been written
and filed away.
Right, filed away. The future is not a script handed down to you by fate.
Okay, let's stop there.
Yeah.
Because that sounds beautiful on a coffee mug.
Very inspirational.
Yeah, no script freedom and all that. But in reality, that is terrifying.
Oh, absolutely. It's paralyzing.
If there is no script, how do I know if I'm doing it right?
We crave the script.
We really do. We want the manual that says step 1, go to college.
Step 2, get the job.
Step 3, get married. Step 4, retire.
And we try to live that way. We desperately look for the track so we can just slot our wheels in and go.
But the source material argues that the anxiety we feel, that constant background hum of, I'm falling behind.
Or am I doing this right?
Yeah, that comes precisely because we are trying to follow a script that doesn't actually exist.
We are memorizing lines for a play that was canceled years ago.
Man, that is such a good way to put it. We are rehearsing for nothing.
The proposition here is, what if meaning isn't a treasure you're supposed to find hidden under a rock?
What if meaning is a building you have to construct?
Brick by brick. Right here on this empty plateau.
That is the mission of this deep dive.
We're going to move from this plateau through the labyrinth of thought.
Down into the body.
And finally, we're going to try to touch what the sources call the force unwitnessed.
From the surface to the source.
Exactly.
Let's start with section 1, the metamind and the operating system. We threw that term out there, metamind.
It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie.
It really does. What are we actually talking about here?
The sources use a few analogies, but the one that I think lands best is the ocean.
The ocean. Go on.
Think about your daily experience, like right now. You have thoughts constantly popping up.
I need to buy eggs.
I hope I didn't sound stupid in that meeting.
My back hurts.
Is it going to rain?
It's just constant noise.
Right. And these are the surface waves. They're choppy, they're wind-driven, and they're constantly changing.
And if you identify with those waves, you are constantly being tossed around.
You are seasick your entire life.
Because if I am my angry thought, then when the anger goes away, who am I?
Precisely. The metamind is the ocean beneath.
The deep, still water?
The water that contains the waves but isn't disturbed by them.
It's the awareness that can say, oh, look, there is a wave of anger.
Without actually becoming the anger.
There's another analogy the source uses that I really liked, the theater.
Oh, the theater of the mind.
Yeah, I think this one really helped separate the user from the architect.
Imagine your mind is a stage.
The actors are your thoughts and emotions.
One actor is dressed as anxiety pacing back and forth.
Sweating.
Another is ambition. Another is hunger.
And usually we think we are the actor.
We were down there on the stage under the bright lights.
Reciting the lines, terrified of missing a cue.
But the metamind is the audience. Or better yet, the director sitting in the dark watching the rehearsal.
The director can say, wow, the anxiety actor's really chewing the scenery today.
But the director isn't anxious. The director's just watching.
That distance, that gap between the actor and the director, that's the game changer.
It's the difference between saying I am sad and saying I am experiencing a wave of sadness.
It sounds like a semantic trick, just playing with words.
It does, but it changes the entire architecture of your brain. It creates space.
And in that space, you get to choose.
That is admin access.
But where does this admin live? Because the sources use a multi-story building analogy that I found really helpful for visualizing this.
Right. Picture a building. The top floor is the penthouse.
It's flooded with sunlight.
That is your conscious mind. Your plans, your logic, the voice you recognize as me.
Okay, penthouse. Got it.
Below that is a dimly lit floor. No windows.
This is where the servers are humming.
This is your habits, your patterns, your deep-seated
With
beliefs.
stuff running in the background.
It controls the temperature and the lighting, but you never really look at it.
The autopilot floor.
Yes. But the metamind.
Where is that?
The metamind is the foundation. It's the concrete slab that supports the whole structure.
And the source makes a crucial point here. You can't redesign the building from the penthouse.
You really can't. You can't just think your way into a new personality.
You have to go down to the foundation to really change how the floors are structured.
So if we are going to be the architect, we have to operate from that foundation.
And this brings us to the practical side of things.
Because up until now, this has been very philosophical.
Very theoretical. But the sources give us practical principles for the architect.
Right. Because how do you actually live as an architect day to day?
The first principle is radical honesty, and they tell the story of Sarah.
This one hit really close to home for me.
Sarah was a serial volunteer.
I was on every committee.
Mhm.
PTA, charity, gala, neighborhood watch.
On paper, she was a saint. Everyone told her, you're so generous.
But she was miserable.
Completely drained.
And radical honesty meant admitting something really ugly about herself.
Which
She wasn't doing it because she cared. She was doing it for the resume.
she was doing it for the applause.
That takes a lot of guts to admit. I'm not nice, I'm just needy.
It's brutal. But when she admitted it, once she stopped lying to herself, she quit the committees.
She started mentoring students one-on-one.
She did less, but it was authentic.
That's the architect redesigning the building based on the actual load-bearing walls, not just the decoration.
The second principle is intentional focus. This is the story of Mike.
Mike felt scattered, overwhelmed, like a lot of us do.
So he started setting a focus word every morning.
Which, I'll be honest, sounds a little bit like something you'd see on a Pinterest board.
Live, laugh, love.
Exactly, that sounds cheesy. But there is actual neuroscience here.
It's about the reticular activating system, right? The RAS.
Yes, your brain is constantly filtering out data.
Like if you buy a red Honda, suddenly you see red Hondas everywhere.
Because the RAS is primed for it.
So if Mike sets his word to gratitude, he is programming his RAS.
He starts seeing things to be grateful for that he literally would not have seen otherwise.
He is applying a filter to the camera lens of his mind.
Third principle, holding meaning lightly.
This is Alex's story. Alex spent his 20s chasing promotions.
He had a script. Success equals vice president.
He ground himself into dust.
But when he got close, he realized he hated management. He loved teaching.
And holding meaning lightly meant he was willing to burn the old script.
He had to be willing to change the goal when the data changed.
Most of us cling to the goal even when it makes us miserable.
We'd rather be right than happy.
That is so true. And finally, the fourth principle, radical responsibility.
Moving from blame to what can I learn?
The story of Jasmine. She failed a group project.
And we've all been there. It is so easy to blame the team.
They were lazy. They didn't answer email.
That's the user mindset. The app is broken.
What's the architect mindset then?
Jasmine asked, what was my role in this failure?
She realized she hadn't communicated her expectations clearly.
She took ownership of the failure.
And that sounds like self-flagellation, but it's actually empowering.
Because if the problem is you, Alp, then you can fix it.
If the problem is them, you're helpless.
This all ties into the idea of the mind as an operating system.
We are trying to get admin access.
But to do that, we need ground rules.
The sources call these the 4 pillars.
These are the structural supports. The source is very stern here.
Without these pillars, any self-help you do is just decoration.
You're building on sand.
Okay, let's lay the foundation. Pillar 1, radical self-honesty.
We touched on this with Sarah.
It's the antidote to self-deception.
You have to acknowledge the shadowy regrets just as much as the bright victories,
If you don't know where you're starting from, you can't build anything stable.
which leads perfectly to pillar 2, flexible goals.
And the analogy here is the GPS. I love this analogy.
We use it every day. A GPS needs 2 things to work,
A target, which is where you want to go.
and a truth, which is where you are right now.
If I lied to the GPS and say I'm in New York when I'm actually in Chicago,
The directions are useless. You can have the best goal in the world, but if you aren't honest about your starting point, you'll never get there.
but the other part of the GPS analogy is crucial, recalculating.
Right. If you miss a turn, the GPS doesn't scream at you.
It doesn't say, you idiot, you ruined the trip, pull over and cry.
It just calculates a new route. That is a flexible goal.
The destination remains, but the path is fluid.
Most of us treat our life goals like a train track. If we derail, we're dead.
We really need to treat them like a GPS.
Pillar 3 is where the language gets a little technical.
Dimensional awareness, or homonymy.
Yeah, that's a $10 word.
I remember homonym from grade school. Bat the animal and bat the baseball stick.
Same sound, different meaning.
Right, but here the source applies it to feelings, and this is big.
Break it down for us.
So your body has a limited vocabulary.
It could do fast heart rate.
It can do sweaty palms. It can do a tight stomach.
That's the raw data. That's the sound of the word.
Okay, so my body is screaming high energy.
Exactly. But your mind, the interpreter, has to assign a meaning to that sound.
If you feel high energy while you are holding a winning lottery ticket, your mind labels it excitement.
But if you feel that exact same high energy while I'm walking down a dark alley at 2 a.m.,
Your mind labels it terror.
the physical sensation, the homonym, is identical.
The meaning is opposite.
So dimensional awareness is the ability to pause
Yeah.
and ask, what is this sensation actually?
It's realizing that anxiety and excitement are often the exact same energy.
It's framed by a different story.
If you can change the frame, you change the experience.
That leads to pillar 4, noun ships.
Or fluid identity.
This attacks the way we talk about ourselves, the party scenario.
Someone walks up to you, hands you a drink, and asks, so what do you do?
And you say, I am a podcast host,
Mm-hmm.
or I am an accountant.
We answer with nouns. We trap ourselves in boxes.
I am a teacher. The source argues this is a psychological cage.
Because if I am a teacher and I lose my job,
Then you cease to exist. You are nothing.
the shift is to move from nouns to verbs.
I am teaching right now. I am accounting right now.
It sounds like a grammar lesson, but it feels very different.
It creates psychological space.
The source mentions an engineer who is also a soccer coach on weekends.
If he is rigidly an engineer, coaching feels like a conflict.
Why is an engineer running around a field in shorts?
But if he is a person who does engineering and does coaching, he is fluid.
He can inhabit different modes without having an identity crisis,
And the source says these pillars are holographically complete.
which basically means they interlock.
You can't have flexible goals without radical truth.
You can't have truth without dimensional awareness.
They support each other like the legs of a table.
So we've built the foundation, we've got our pillars.
Now we walk to the edge of the map.
Section 3, the threshold of the known.
This is where the journey really begins. We are leaving the comfortable world of logic and education.
We are stepping into the unknown.
The sources describe a feeling called sacred confusion.
I love that phrase, sacred confusion.
I hate the feeling, though.
It's that moment when your old map stops working.
You thought you knew how the world worked, and suddenly nothing makes sense.
It feels like a breakdown.
But the source insists this is the breakdown that precedes the breakthrough.
If you aren't confused, you aren't learning.
You're just reciting old data.
And at this threshold, there are 3 revelations waiting for us.
Revelation number 1. The mind is not the ultimate authority.
This is a massive blow to the ego. We think our mind is the CEO.
But the source argues the mind is a processor, not an originator.
It translates data, but it doesn't create the data.
Revelation number 2.
Yeah.
The body is not subordinate.
It isn't a meat suit.
It isn't a taxi for your brain.
It is a sophisticated receiver transmitter.
It knows things the mind hasn't figured out yet.
And revelation number 3, there is something deeper than both.
The force. The animating principle.
The thing that is beating your heart right now without you asking it to.
To pass this threshold, we have to surrender the need for certainty.
Which is way easier said than done.
It requires deep humility. You have to admit that your logic can't explain everything.
You have to stop thinking mind over body and start thinking of them as partners.
Let's walk through that threshold into section 4, the labyrinth of thought.
If the mind isn't the CEO, what is it?
The source makes a really important distinction between the brain and the mind.
The brain is the hardware, right? The roads, the wires, the synapses.
The mind is the traffic.
Yeah.
It's the life moving through the city.
And the mind is an interpreter.
Always. The mind constructs reality.
It doesn't record it like a video camera.
2 people see a car accident. One sees danger and chaos.
The other sees gratitude that they survive.
The event is the exact same. The filter is different.
There's this concept of the garden of the mind, which I think is incredibly practical.
Yes. Every mental event is a seed.
Now here is the catch. You cannot stop weed seeds from blowing in.
Random thoughts, intrusive thoughts, weird fears.
They happen to everyone. You can't stop the wind.
So I'm not crazy for having crazy thoughts.
No, not at all. But you are the gardener.
You choose which seeds to water with your attention.
And this ties straight back to neuroplasticity.
Exactly. What you rehearse mentally, you reinforce neurologically.
If you water the seeds of anxiety every day,
If you dwell on them, replay them.
you are building a neural highway for anxiety.
You are growing a jungle of fear.
Not because you are broken, but because you are a really good gardener who watered the wrong seeds.
But we get stuck in these loops. The trap
The
loop.
circular nature of thought.
Thoughts lead to actions.
Actions lead to experiences.
Experiences reinforce the thoughts.
It's a completely self-fulfilling prophecy.
So how do we break it?
You don't have to blow up the whole system.
You just have to interrupt one single link.
One conscious choice, one moment of saying, I'm not going to water that seed today.
That breaks the loop.
Now, the source material takes a very dark, very serious turn here.
It does. It
Mhm.
uses a historical case study to illustrate what happens when the mind gets completely detached from reality.
It talks about Hitler in World War II.
And we need to be really careful here. This isn't a political history lesson.
Right. The authors are using this purely as an extreme example of cognitive distortion.
It's analyzing strategic failure caused by a warped mind.
Specifically, 3 distortions that led to his collapse. The first is infallibility.
The belief that he was chosen by fate.
This sounds empowering on the surface, but it was fatal.
It led him to completely ignore logistics. Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of Russia.
His generals said the supply lines won't hold. The winter is coming.
He ignored them because he believed his destiny trumped logistical reality.
That is the mind completely blinding you to facts.
It's the ultimate user error. Believing the script in your head is more real than the ground under your feet.
The second distortion is enemy inferiority.
Racism as a strategic liability.
He underestimated the USSR and the USA because his bias told him they were weak or decadent.
He couldn't see their actual industrial capacity because his prejudice acted as a blindfold.
He was fighting a fantasy, not the real enemy.
And the third distortion, unilateral control.
Micromanagement.
The belief that one will can force a complex system to bend.
He refused to let his generals retreat, even when it was tactically necessary.
And the lesson here, according to the source,
Supremacy is a strategic liability.
it blinds you. True strength is adaptation.
It's seeing the world as it actually is not as you want it to be.
If you are trapped in a distortion, you will eventually crash against reality.
And reality always wins.
Always. It's a massive, tragic example.
But the source makes a really uncomfortable pivot here.
It says, don't just look at history and judge. Look at your own Tuesday.
Right. It's easy to spot cognitive distortion in a dictator.
It's much harder to spot it when you are the one doing it.
The authors call this the alchemy of perception.
Because we do the same thing. We aren't invading countries, but we walk into a meeting with a script in our head that might be totally wrong.
Bias isn't just a moral failing, it's a perceptual error.
Imagine you're walking down the street at night. You see a group of teenagers.
Your heart races.
Is that fear based on an immediate actual threat?
Or is it an old script, an old movie trope playing in your head?
Or think about the manager who dismisses a young intern saying Gen Z is lazy.
Is she actually incompetent?
Or do you have an enemy inferiority distortion running?
If you don't question the script, you miss the talent. You are operating on bad data.
The source gives us a protocol for this. Feed the mind accurate data.
Retrain the body's response. Box breathing is mentioned here as a tool.
And then align with the unseen force. Look for shared humanity.
It's about manually overriding the glitch.
Which brings us to the entity that actually feels the fear or the bias or the excitement.
The body. Section 5, the body as vessel.
We have to completely reevaluate the body.
We tend to live entirely in our heads.
We treat the body like a donkey we ride around. Take me to the meeting, body. Feed me, body.
But the source reminds us the body is the only place you can actually live.
The mind is a time traveler. It's worrying about tomorrow or regretting yesterday.
The body is always here. It is the anchor.
And it has its own intelligence.
Massive intelligence. Think about healing a cut.
You cut your finger. Do you have to intellectually manage the clotting factor?
Do you have to send a memo to the white blood cells?
No. It just happens.
The body knows how to knit skin back together.
That is a level of intelligence your conscious mind can't even touch.
Or procedural memory, like riding a bike.
You can't explain the physics of balance to a 5-year-old.
But your body understands the physics perfectly.
Now here is the stat from the sources that actually stop me in my tracks.
Oh, the sensory processing data?
Yes. Specifically, how much raw data our nervous system handles versus what our conscious brain actually sees.
The bandwidth problem. Break this down for the listener because it's wild.
The estimate is that the human body, the eyes, skin, ears, proprioception.
It's taking in roughly 11 million bits of information per second.
It is a fire hose of data.
11 million.
But the conscious mind, the part of you that is thinking, I need to buy eggs or this deep dive is interesting.
That can only process about 40 to 50 bits per second.
Wait, hold on. 11 million versus 50.
It's a rounding error. You are consciously aware of 0.00005% of your reality.
So scientifically speaking, we are basically completely oblivious.
We have to be. If you felt your shirt touching every single square inch of your skin,
Heard the hum of the fridge, heard the traffic outside.
and tracked the pupil dilation of the person across from you, all at once you'd have a psychotic break.
The brain filters it out. It gives you the executive summary.
But, and here is where the source material gets super interesting. Just because the brain filters it out doesn't mean the system didn't record it.
Bingo. That's the gut feeling.
It's not magic, it's rapid data processing.
That bad vibe you get from a new business partner.
That is your 11 million bit processor noticing microexpressions, pheromones, and tone shifts.
Things that your 40-bit conscious mind completely missed.
So when the source talks about the body's yes and no, it's talking about reading that hidden report.
Exactly. Learning to read the body is like upgrading your internal internet connection from dial-up to fiber optic.
So what does a yes feel like physically?
It's subtle at first. An opening. A feeling of lightness.
A forward lean.
Expansion in the chest.
And a no?
Contraction. Tightness in the stomach. Withdrawal. A feeling of heaviness.
If you are making a decision and your logic says yes, but your stomach feels like a knot.
Trust the stomach. It has so much more data.
The body acts as an energetic bridge.
It bridges the gap between third-person science-like neurons firing and hormones releasing.
And first-person experience, the actual feeling of redness or love.
The body is where the biology meets the biography.
And that points us to the final, deepest section. Section 6, the force unwitnessed.
We are entering the mystery now.
The source starts this section with a paradox. That which enables perception cannot itself be perceived.
Think about your eye. Your eye sees the world.
It sees the tree, the car, the computer screen.
But the eye cannot turn around and see itself.
It is the instrument of seeing.
Or the screen analogy.
Right. You go to the movies, you see the actors, the drama, the explosions.
You don't see the white silver screen.
If the screen wasn't there, there would be no movie.
But the screen itself is invisible because you are looking at the movie.
So this force is the scream.
It is the condition that makes experience possible.
It's not a mystical peak experience you have on a mountaintop once a year.
It is the background hum beneath everything.
The source mentions it has been called the Tao Brahman God, or even the algorithm of reality.
But the source grounds this physiologically, too. It's not just distinct from the body.
No, it expresses through the body.
The nervous system transmitting signals, that's the force.
The heart beating 100,000 times a day without a conscious command, that's the force.
And cellular life, ATP production, DNA replication.
It's all happening in the dark completely without us managing it.
The analogy used here is the light bulb. We are the light bulb.
And the force is the electricity.
I really like that.
The electricity doesn't belong to the bulb. The bulb didn't create it.
But the bulb gives the electricity a shape, a localized form.
We are not separate entities observing the force. We are the force expressing itself through form.
So if we accept all of this, the metamind, the body's intelligence, the force.
How do we actually put it all together? How do we stop flickering?
Section 7 is integration.
The goal is to move from fragmentation, where your mind is fighting your body and you're disconnected from the force,
To a unified operating system.
the jazz club metaphor comes back here.
Yes. Beauty isn't perfect execution of a rigidly written score.
It's emergence. It's the collaboration between skilled players.
Mind, body, and force are the jazz trio.
The source outlines the 5 paths to embodiment. Let's run through them quickly.
First sensation. This is feeling the hardware.
Putting your hand in ice water, that is raw sensation.
Thinking that water is cold is mind. You have to get back to the raw data.
Second breath, the power source.
Using the diaphragm to signal safety to the vagus nerve.
Third movement, calibration. Move into flush energy.
Animals shake off trauma. We tend to store it. Movement releases it.
Fourth, stillness, diagnostic mode.
Turning down the noise so you can actually hear the signal.
And fifth expression, output, completing the circuit.
If you receive signals but don't express them, you create compression.
Compression sounds painful.
It is. It's stored tension. It eventually becomes illness.
And finally, the concept of the field.
This is about the space between people. It's not empty.
It's a conductive medium. We create microclimates.
Like how one person can walk into a room and the temperature just drops.
Exactly. Expansion versus contraction in the field.
Reading the room is actually reading your own nervous system's reaction to the field.
This brings us to the end of our journey today, the outro. We've covered a massive amount of ground.
We really have. And the core idea the source leaves us with is the update concept.
Transformation isn't a destination. You don't just arrive and stop.
It's an ongoing software update. You are not broken.
You are just running a current version of a self that was never meant to be finished.
And the final question to leave our listeners with, there's a scene in the source about a traveler at a cafe asking, what pattern am I running?
It connects the micro to the macro.
The patterns of the cosmos seasons, tides, orbits, are the exact same structural patterns running in your daily habits.
So the real challenge is to move from unconscious repetition, just looping the old script.
To conscious co-creation.
That's the big takeaway.
We leave you, listener, with the image of the blank canvas of the new day.
The brush is in your hand.
As the source says, you are not a closed system. You are a node in something vast and alive.
What you broadcast, the network receives.
Beautifully put.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you on the next one.